While one could argue that technical innovation in watchmaking is a silly point to discuss with the advent of smartphones that always keep perfect time, but if you're a fan of horology, there's a long list of technical achievements throughout the history of timekeeping, and to push forward this art form of classic watchmaking technique, innovation is still continuing in the 21st century, with strides being made toward greater accuracy, durability, material breakthroughs, shock and water resistance, and ingenious complications. In this video, we look at 5 traditional watch brands that are some of the most innovative in the 21st century that are not fully being acknowledged for doing so. A couple qualifiers to start: we will not be looking at brands that do tend to get their flowers in the world of innovation, such as Grand Seiko, where its trailblazing feats are documented regularly and are part of why the brand is held in such high regard. We're also not going to be mentioning independent, high horology type of brands, as despite many of them being worthy of being on this list, the concept of limited production and high price points probably don't make for as interesting of a conversation for the vast majority of the watch buyers for a video like this. So we are going to be focusing on mainstream manufacturers and provide multiple examples of why they are deserving of this classification. Despite delivering a long list of innovations while covering the spectrum from entry level to higher end pieces, Citizen doesn't fully get acknowledged for its notable contributions. Now, Citizen is a Japanese brand many people know, but perhaps not known as well for their remarkable in-house capabilities and innovations. At the center of these is going to be their work with solar quartz technology known by EcoDrive. Although there are other brands that have used solar-powered watches, Citizen has shown the greatest ability to master it at scale, first unveiling the EcoDrive tech in 1996 and having it reach market maturity in the 21st century. Eco finds its way into the majority of Citizen's lineup, reaching its current apex in the EcoDrive 1, which was unveiled as the thinnest analog light-powered watch in the world, coming in at a mere 2.98 millimeters thin with a movement thickness of around 1 millimeter. They were also pioneers in atomic timekeeping, which utilizes integrated radio receivers that maintain accuracy by syncing with atomic clock signals throughout the world. But their movement innovations don't stop there. Citizen currently claims the title of the world's most accurate autonomous quartz movement with the Caliber 0100, a limited series of ultra-precise watches that boast an accuracy of plus or minus 1 second a year, all without the aid of external synchronization. Citizen was a pioneer in the use of titanium, with the first model dating back to the 1970s with the release of the X8 chronometer. They recognize its viability due to its lightweight, corrosion resistance, and hypoallergenic qualities. And while titanium in its most basic state can scratch easily due to its inherent softness, Citizen's proprietary super titanium boasts a hardness of more than 5 times that of stainless steel. And the best part about what they do with titanium is the fact that they have some of the most attainable offerings, finding its way into models below $500 today. Speaking of Citizen, another brand under their corporate umbrella is Switzerland's Frederique Constant, and they are easily one of the most deserving brands to be on this list despite rarely getting any mention. Although the brand doesn't have centuries-old heritage of some, you could argue the ability to make up for lost time is what makes them even more impressive. Since its inception in 1988, FC has released more than 30 separate calibers, and since its acquisition by Citizen in 2016, the brand has been on a tear, emphasizing its manufacture series. One of their biggest innovations has to be their manufacturer slimline monolithic. It uses an etched silicon oscillator, which oscillates 10 times faster than a traditional 4 Hz movement. In other words, it has a frequency of 288,000 vibrations per hour, or 40 Hz. And despite the ultra high frequency, the FC810 still maintains a power reserve of 80 hours. Other advantages of the oscillator's silicon construction is the ability to resist magnetic fields. It also suffers less material wear by friction given the use of silicon, and requires less power to drive the mechanism. All of this is housed in a well-finished 40mm case with the caliber on display for under $5,000 retail. Another aspect of FC worthy of mentioning is its capacity to deliver remarkable complication types for the money. First is the manufacturer classic world timer, which is a true execution of the complication, being able to determine the proper time around the world, which is made even more impressive by the fact that it can be done with no need for pushers. Instead, all could be handled by a single crown. Another example is the brand's flyback chronographs, being some of the most attainable on the market, with Frederique Constant modifying the column wheel for a patented star wheel while keeping the thickness well under 14 millimeters. Both the world timer and flyback are under $5,000 to add to the proposition, with the brand even having a perpetual calendar complication starting at under 10 grand with the Highlight family. Before we advance to our next brand, did you know that we are releasing daily written content on TeddyBaldestar.com? If you didn't, well, you're in for a treat. We now have a team of writers that are going to be posting new articles daily. Names you also might be familiar with, including Danny Milton, Bilal Khan, Mark Bernardo, Aaron Wilborn, Blake Bettner, all providing the latest around the industry and much more. So if you're interested in hearing what they have to say and giving some of the most in-depth analysis around the industry, head to our blog, sign up for our newsletter, and you'll get up-to-date information around the industry sent to your inbox every single week. Also, while you're on the blog, definitely check out some of our recent articles. We have a lot of great ones going out and new ones coming out, as I mentioned, daily. To put a brand as mainstream as Omega on the list, it has to be for a good reason. But I would argue there's no other brand in luxury watches that have been able to roll out the innovations Omega has at scale in the past 25 years. As you've noticed thus far, I don't want to look back to the middle of the 20th century to talk about innovative moments, as that is missing the plot of this video. However, Omega certainly has plenty of those too. Where I want to begin is at the turn of the millennium in 1999, when Omega acquired the rights to the coaxial escapement from the brilliant English watchmaker, Dr. George Daniels. Since this was the crowning life work of Daniels, some might argue that there is no innovation by Omega here. It is just acquiring a technology. I would argue differently because of two primary reasons. If you know the story of Daniels, you are aware that he was actively shopping the coaxial concept around Switzerland for a while, dealing with constant rejection among brands who didn't think the escapement was viable. In my opinion, I believe you deserve kudos for having foresight to see the potential of the coaxial system when you've already deeply invested in the process of Swiss lever escapement production for years. Further, it was one thing to be able to pull off the coaxial in smaller production. It would be a different animal to industrialize it at scale, a feat Omega has been able to achieve. The next pillar in Omega's chronometric innovations comes from the 2015 release of the Master Chronometer. This new test was developed in partnership with the Swiss Federal Institute of Metrology, setting a new benchmark across the industry for testing. The certification consists of 8 tests that are overseen by the third-party institute, delivering many benefits to the user as a result, including higher resistance to shocks, power reserve efficiency, water resistance tests, accuracy standards that range from 0 to +5 seconds a day, and being able to withstand magnetic fields up to 15,000 Gauss, a number set based on the magnetic output of MRI machines. To add to the Master Chronometer standard, it doesn't consist merely of testing the movement, unlike COSC, instead utilizing tests with the watch fully cased up. To add merit to this certification is that now we are seeing other brands around the industry invest deeply into being able to pass the Master Chronometer test as well with their watches. And finally, Omega's most recent notable movement development is the Spyrate system. Although Spyrate is earlier in its life cycle, being released just in 2023, this appears to be the next pillar for Omega's suite of chronometric innovations. If you are interested in learning how it works, I recommend checking out my video with Gregory Kisling of Omega, now at Breguet, as a CEO, so congrats to him. But we were talking about every single Omega Speedmaster model, including the Super Racing that first revealed the tech. In an abbreviated summation, the Spyrate system allows fine adjustments to be made to a watch's rate, being able to adjust the accuracy in small increments of 0.1 seconds per day. But really where the magic is how it's actually done. It works by attaching a flexible blade to a hairspring, which instead of dealing with adjusting the workable length of the spring, it alters the rigidity. This allows for a more effortless ability to regulate in finer increments while upping the accuracy of the caliber even further. This will continue to be a development to monitor from the brand. However, I would assume that we are going to see it roll out to other watches beyond the Super Racing in the near future. Germany's Sinn enjoys cult-like popularity among fans of no-nonsense tool watches, and with good reason. The brand has a history of technical innovation throughout the bulk of its lineup. Sinn's HQ in Frankfurt operates similar to other watch brands from the outside, although it doubles as a laboratory of testing new concepts, materials, and much more to create some of the most robust watches in the world. To start is the steel used in their dive watches, the so-called submarine steel developed for the modern German Navy. Submarine steel has a strength of more than 1.5 times that of normal steel, and additionally, it's highly resistant to magnetism, cracking, and corrosion. In fact, Sinn claims it's completely resistant to prolonged exposure to salt water. Furthermore, Sinn also employs an additional technology for hardening both stainless steel and titanium surfaces throughout their lineup under a brand classification known as tegimenting. This colsterizing type treatment is done with a specialist that increases both the hardness and scratch resistance even further, making for an extremely durable finish. Sinn also goes to extreme lengths when it comes to handling pressure, both high and low. For their pilot's watches, Sinn uses a specially constructed case designed to handle lower air pressures found at higher altitudes. If the external pressure outside the watch case drops, the difference in pressure inside and outside of the case can push a crystal from the inside out. So the case is designed to ensure that the glass does not escape if it's press fit. Additionally, many Sinn watches are gas-filled, which aids in keeping humidity out of the case in situations of rapidly changing temperatures and humidity. As for high pressure, Sinn's UX line of dive watches incorporates a special oil-filled case that has multiple benefits. It's called hydro technology, and because the oil acts to reduce external pressure at depth, these watches are water resistant to a staggering 5,000 meters. Further, the oil also resists fogging and makes the dial legible from almost any angle, an effect that you really have to see in person to believe. The clarity resembles that of high-resolution computer monitors, especially underwater, cutting out any refractions. The UX lineup also employs an ETA quartz movement, as a mechanical movement would be unable to function in an oil-filled case. And in addition to being reliable, the ETA 955.652 is also temperature stabilized, allowing for the watch to remain operational from -4 to 140 degrees Fahrenheit. For our final brand, we have IWC. IWC are long-time innovators when it comes to the use of unique case materials, with one of the standouts being ceramics. Its pilot's watches serve as a test bed for newly developed colors and formulations, and in addition to shades of black and blue, we now see green, white, and Ceruleum, which adds superluminova to their white ceramic, giving the case an otherworldly blue glow that can last up to 24 hours. Then there's Ceratanium, which adds titanium to the mix, creating an alloy that is far more durable and impact resistant than ceramic alone. Next, if you're someone that happens to love a good moon phase watch but dread the idea of setting it correctly, IWC has you covered. This absolutely next level Portuguese or Eternal calendar was unveiled at Watches and Wonders in 2024, making a huge splash as one of the most ambitious introductions ever. The watch even made the Guinness Book of World Records as the most precise lunar phased wristwatch in the world. The intricate movement ensures that the Eternal calendar won't need adjustment until the year 3,999, taking into account leap years. Where it gets even crazier though is with the moon phase. In fact, the watch will be able to monitor precise cycles of the moon for the next 45 million years. IWC obviously knew they had something special, evidenced by the brand commissioning legendary composer Hans Zimmer to write a theme song for the watch. I'm not even kidding, they actually had them write this. And finally, the extreme within the big pilot lineup, the 44mm shock absorber XPL in black Ceratanium. The XPL utilizes the same concept as a cantilever spring, protecting the movement from shocks of rapid acceleration and deceleration in excess of 30,000 Gs. For those playing along at home, this is 3,333 times what a human being could survive. But all right guys, that is our video here today, looking at some of the most innovative watch brands in the 21st century. If you enjoyed this video, let me know in the comments down below. And if you want us to do another one of these and kind of give reason behind some of the brands we mentioned, I think we could probably do maybe one other part for this series. I don't think there's that many more you could include on this list, but if you're interested, let me know also in the comments below, and leave a comment what you think is the most innovative watch brand in the industry today. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell icon, really do appreciate that. And also check out TeddyBaldestar.com. TeddyBaldestar.com is an authorized dealer of over 30 brands. Every watch purchased from TeddyBaldestar.com comes with a full factory warranty, quick and fast fulfillment, and dedicated customer support. Also, if you have any questions about watches on our website for sale, reach out to one of my team members on live chat. They are on there 18 hours a day. We are watch people. We want to hear from you. If you have any questions, let us know. Be happy to help you out. Also, if you are in the market for a watch, we would absolutely love to have your business. Allow us to keep doing what we're doing here, and we love what we do. But guys, thank you again so much for watching. Be well, and I will see you all very soon.